I actually can't totally believe that this segment is being done on this show, but I can because that's where we're at. And Gunnar Rivers is a top 247 player in the class of 2027, following in dad's footsteps, going to NC State. Kenton, his dad, not a month and a half ago, had my beloved Seahawks on the ropes in Seattle, filling in at quarterback for the Colts, and his kid is going to NC State. How old did you feel when you saw Gunnar Rivers to NC State?
Let me tell you something, okay? I went viral not too long ago for a dealing about my affiliation with my Black Greek Letter organization, and people were telling me how old I looked. Okay, that's the oldest I've ever felt in my life. People were saying, "Oh, you look like you're 38, not 28," and all that type of stuff. This was a couple years ago. Okay, I'm 30 now, so I'm catching up to the age I look. That was the second oldest I've ever felt in my life. Hearing that Gunnar Rivers, the son of Phillip Rivers, is coming to NC State. Like you said, his dad's still playing. We want to say his dad is retired, but literally, and when people say, "Oh, they got grandpa up off the couch," fun fact, Phillip Rivers is a grandfather. He's an actual grandfather. So, it's tough, Spencer. It's tough, but it's not tough as an NC State fan because Gunnar Rivers, despite the Nepo baby allegations and all that, he actually is a damn good quarterback. I mean, the young man can sling it around the yard. He has an odd release, a lot like his dad. I advise that the DJ at Carter Finley, when he gets there, and whenever he scores a touchdown, I said, y'all need to play "Stunting Like My Daddy" by Lil Wayne every time he gets into the end zone. Because his dad owns almost every record there is in terms of passing at NC State. Yeah. He owns all of them. You look through the record books, it's Phillip Rivers, Phillip. He's all over the place. And if he brings all that family, North Carolina is going to gain about 5 representatives in the House, but we ain't here to talk politics. The reality is this. This is a great thing for NC State because, again, he is everything that most people would expect him to be based on this film. Now, granted, he doesn't play in the biggest or most competitive division in Alabama, but his film, it shows him fitting the ball into tight windows. His film shows him having good pocket awareness. And I'll tell you, the thing that he does not, that he and his dad are not kind of on the same page on, he can shuffle the puppies much better than his father did. He must have got that athleticism from his mom's side of the family from the waist down, but from the waist up, he slings that thing around the yard a lot like Pops. So ultimately, I'm excited for Gunnar Rivers to get here, and you know how this thing goes, Spencer. The only thing that gets more talent than money is other talent, right? Before the days where the payments were out loud and we knew everybody was getting paid, the only other thing that would get players to go places is talent begets talent. Right? You get a great quarterback, then all of a sudden the receiver's looking around like, now why would I go over here where they're going to be looking for a transfer quarterback? They might have to take some guy from, and this is a real thing that's happening in the ACC, they may have to take some guy from Saginaw Valley State and plug him in as their quarterback, as opposed to, hey, this kid was a 4-star and the film that he's put out is pretty good. I think I'm going to go there. So ultimately, I think this is great for Wolfpack Nation for just, an infinite amount of reasons. And I think that he'll be a really great asset to this team moving forward.
The point about mom from the waist down, dad from the waist up is an accurate one. Not that dad set the bar really high to be to be better than what old. I mean, Phillip Rivers is 42. I think he's been 42 since he was like 24.
Yeah.
And do you know which kid Gunnar Rivers is? Because Phillip Rivers, I believe, has 9. If memory serves.
I believe he has 2 daughters older than him, or at least 1 daughter. I know he has the 1 daughter that had the kid that made him a granddad. So I know that one is older than Gunnar. But Gunnar is the first boy. So he's the first boy of the bunch, which I think means he's number 3 or 4 of the pack. Listen, okay, Phillip Rivers is like the old lady that lived in the shoe. He got so many kids, he don't know what to do. Okay, it's tough to establish who's where in the lineage. But no, seriously, Gunnar is the first boy, and I believe the third one in line, second or third in line. So he's not the only boy. So NC State fans, don't worry. There's another one. College football fans, don't worry.
Don't worry, not done.
If you're not feeling old yet. Oh, don't worry. There will be plenty more, But also, I do want to say, Spencer, we just getting to that age, man. We're seeing all these guys. All these guys that we grew up watching play. I'm a Lions fan, right? I was a biggest Lions fan in the world. Still am one of the biggest Lions fans in the world. Dre Blah's a coach now, right? Like, that's part of it. Chris Henry, right? His son, one of the best wide receivers in the nation now. It's part of the deal. It's part of the deal. All these guys that we watched growing up, LeGarrette Blount's son is like a year away from graduating.
Man, dude, that one struck a chord.
That's what I'm saying. As an Oregon guy. Yeah. So
Oregon's also got Haloti Ngata's son committed in the class of 2027, same age as Gunnar Rivers.
So that's my point. We're seeing more and more. Time don't stop. It just keep going, right? And as the old statistic goes, there's no school that has produced more Division I players. There's not a single high school in the nation that's produced more Division I players than former NFL players. That's just a fact. The lineage is there. The genes are there. You are genetically predisposed to be good at what you're good at. And since we're all locked on college football, to quote the great Barry Alvarez, about 97% of your life is determined at birth. Just by your genetics and who you're born to, that takes care of a vast majority of it. Haloti Ngata's son, the chances of him being a ballerina,
it went down.
Phillip Rivers' son, the chances of him being a starting shooting guard for the Heat, that's just not what your genes are for, brother. Haloti Ngata's son, your genes say you're gonna move some furniture around. Phillip Rivers' son, your furniture, your genes say you could find that window and you could, darn near throwing blind with pressure all around you. You're going to be able to hit that shot moving out the window. You know what I mean? And so ultimately, this is kind of where we are in the world. And it's not going to stop, because pretty soon we're going to start seeing kids of guys that we're like, wait a minute, I played with that guy, or I'm older than that guy, When I saw Drake Kirkpatrick's son being a recruit, I said, oh, my God, that's the one that made me feel like, wait a minute.
Oh, no.
Wait, hold on.
So recently.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, wait. And, DB's careers, they're shorter than Kevin Hart with no kneecaps. So to see his son coming out, but ultimately, it's just the world, man. It's the world. And so NC State is excited about him. And I think the most interesting thing about it is all of the other implications that then come up because he came, right? Because we're having fun with this segment, because it's a fun segment.
Yeah, why not?
But the reality is there are some implications that are pretty serious that can be discussed here, right? Like Dorn, according to multiple sources very close to him, I live in Raleigh. I was a part of Dorn's first recruiting class. Trust me, very few people are as close to the situation as me. I had on good authority, Dorn was probably on his way, not being fired, but into retirement, and to say, hey, I'm good, I'm done here. And so now the question comes up of, well, do you leave after you get a Gunnar Rivers? Like, what does that look like? And then there's the question about, Phillip Rivers was interviewing for head coaching jobs in the NFL. And people say, well, he was a head coach of his son in high school. Does he follow and do the Jason Witten thing, where now he's a coach of his son in college, be it as a position coach or potentially a coordinator and all those types of things? And he is an NC State legend after all. So if there is anything that kind of warrants somebody skipping the line to that head coach or coordinator position, is this one of the things. Not only are you a legend, your son's going to be the starting quarterback. So there are lots of implications around this particular situation that's very unique, right? Like, it's not like Haloti Ngata is already on staff at Oregon. He's like, hey, yeah, I've been coaching defensive linemen here for 5 years. Like, yeah, of course my son was coming here because that's my boy. He's going to be here, And so there's a lot of dynamics around this thing that make it a little bit different from a LeGarrette Blount son going wherever, whatever the case may be, because there are lots of coaching things where you're like, okay, this changes the picture of what we thought it was going to be And mind you, there was already a good amount of, I guess, opacity around what NC State's coaching situation would look like in 2 to 3 years.
Yeah, and it does beg the question whether Phillip Rivers would be a candidate if Dave Doran were to ever step down. But I'll tell you what, if you're someone out there that just loves Phillip Rivers no matter what, just tune into Gunnar whenever he starts for the Wolfpack, because when he throws that ball, spitting image.
You'll see it. You'll see it.
You can't miss it. You can't. You're like, oh, it's the DiCaprio. I mean, you're like, right.
That's exactly.
I know that.
Because let me tell you, everybody wants quarterbacks to throw the ball a certain way, and it's a callback to that time where the NFL was a little bit more wonky, right? Where guys kind of were what they were, and people had these ugly passing motions and all that, and going back even further to guys kicking the ball with no shoe on and stuff like that. It's a callback to that moment of like, it's just different. Because now every quarterback from the time they're like 4 or 5 years old, if they're playing at the Division I level, a vast majority of these guys have been training for this. A vast majority of these guys have been to camp after camp after camp, where they say, whoa, why are you pushing the ball like it's a shot put? You need to throw the ball, that arm, you need to rotate your body a specific way. So I think it's very interesting to see.
Yeah, there's certainly more than one way to do it. Works for him. And again, this is not some flyer of a recruit. 24/7 Sports Composite, top 150 guy, regardless of position in the 2027 cycle. So we'll cap my favorite segment of the week right there. Kenton Gibbs, Locked On ACC and Locked On Wolfpack as well. Great, as always. When we get back, we will remember the great and late Lou Holtz.